Hey guys. (624) Dudley, g'day. Hey Bill. Jim Minnick, morning. Wozza, g'day. Chirp, hello. Good to see you. Aid, hello. Hope you're okay. Stephen Lang. Good video from Stephen Lang this week. We'll touch on that in a minute. Go Create, g'day. Nigel's finished his vice. Machine NZ, g'day. Brendan, hello. Just was reading your comment on YouTube, thanks. Paul Bipperton, good day. Paul from the Knackler's Workshop, good day. Pretty cruisy here. Bit sleepy actually, not feeling particularly chipper actually. I didn't sleep well last night. Anyway. Maddie, g'day. No idea what we're going to talk about in this live stream or whether we're going to talk about anything. I sleep more than chirpy. Put it that way, I sleep more than chirpy. What's everyone up to? What exciting things have happened? I guess this week, what have I done? I've spent most of my waking hours sorting out my Model Engineer magazine collection, discovering there's a few gaps. Some kind offers from people to send magazines that might be part of the gap list. Hey John. Got some gaps in the 20s. If anyone's got any 1920s or 1930s Model Engineer magazines, either loose or bound or reproduction, that they've got spare, hit me up. New driveway for Steve, that looks awesome. New valve on John Creasy's steam engine also looks awesome. That's the social media updates. Yes, I've seen Mr. Crispin's video, Machine NZ. KLM, g'day. Hey, anyone who's looking, who's in the right place. Gentleman here from Vietnam's looking for a girlfriend, apparently. If you know anyone. Give him his email. Very handsome, apparently. Just a heads up. That's another tidbit from social media this week. Yeah, lock up your daughters. Good video from Stephen Lang with a shout out for Toolfest 2021. Now, I've been slack with this. Anyone who wants to share the hashtag and say get involved, it's much appreciated. I've been slack. I've had so much go on this last month or so since I announced it. In hindsight, it was a really stupid thing to do at that point in time, but we'll go ahead with it. And I've started my project, so I'm pretty excited about that. Not going to disclose what it is at this point. There's trying to make a decent video out of it, but there's a fair bit of work in it as a tool to fit into one video, so it's going to be fairly condensed, I think. Anyway, I've started. I know a lot of other people have started too, and it's pretty exciting. So anyone who wants a shout out, I feel like most of America has lost touch with the rest of the world because they've sort of moved on from social media or moved away from mainstream social media. Anyway, anyone who's out there and wants to give a shout out about it and get some more people on board, I'm going to send out an email about it. I've probably left it way too late, but I still need to do that, and it's probably going to happen. Probably going to happen tonight. We'll see. I saw you squared up that block of material. I've got a block of D2 squared up nicely and finished up. But there's still a lot of details to go into it and a lot of bits to go on the outside of it. So we'll see how we go with that. Shop made tools. Hey, Darren. Callum, that's Kevin, Machine NZ. I think we all should, but Stephen, I'm working on it. I was thinking about some of my favourite tools, which are shop made, and got a lot of pretty special stuff actually, which I really like to use. Some of them are made by me, but most of them are made by friends, and some of them I've picked up secondhand and I haven't got a clue where they come from. But there you go. If you run out of time, this is a pretty awesome tool that you should get. These come from Stephen Lang. Hit him up because he still grinds them. And they've been out the last couple of days. Precision ground flat stones, they're really good, pretty useful thing. Yeah, they're shop made, but they've got a personal touch to them. And I guess you'd call them commercial now. He's made enough of them, but pretty useful thing. Hey, just a plug for Stephen because he's an awesome guy. And I get asked all the time where to get these, and I know he ships overseas. I'm not sure if he ships to Australia still, or USPS has been a pain about that. Fridge, what's this boiler crap? Don't go on about that. What's the fine grit side? Really good question. Fine. Doesn't really matter because they're ground flat, so there's not a lot of cut in them anyway. These are a bit dirty, but they only take the high spots off. It's all smoke and mirrors, Dan. There's no magic. Another big favourite, and I don't think these are made for sale, but you can try, is this little set of parallels. There's one over there at the lathe, and I forgot to go and get it. Two, actually. One must be on the milling machine, I think. John Creasy made these for me. They're pretty awesome. They're really nice. In a little wooden box. This is something I use all the time. Like, all the time. Pretty nice. Yeah, mine need to go in the ultrasonic and a bit of a clean up, but give them a rub together and you find that most of it disappears. Everyone knows these. These are Bar Z Industrial Z-squares. They're a fairly expensive investment. These didn't cost me anything because people are crazy generous, and I really appreciate that. I'm not here to brag or anything. But I feel a bit humbled when I think about this, but this is one of the most used tools in my shop. These are fantastic for marking out and laying out and setting up. It's an awesome thing, and I guess you'd call them shop made still. Don't know. Thanks, John. And Craig, but other people do make scribers, but these are Randy's amazing scribers. It's a stainless steel one. I've got a brass one. Haven't seen it since I moved. I've got no idea where it is. It'll be around. A couple of tools I haven't seen since I moved, and I'm really not sure. I'm missing my 5mm blue Allen key, long series Allen key, ball-end Allen key. No idea where that is. Haven't seen that. I guess it's here somewhere, but I've got no idea which toolbox it's in. I don't think it's hanging up on the floor. I haven't seen it since I moved, so it was packed in a box somewhere, I would say, loose. Now, there's a 3/16 and a 5mm one, and the Bonder's set, they're both exactly the same colour. They're both that light blue colour. So the 3/16 one was actually in the metric set, and there was one missing out of the Imperial set, which I didn't realise. So I swapped them back, and now I've got one missing out of my metric set. And it's in one of these drawers somewhere, but I haven't got a clue where. That's the long and the short of that. Phil and Pierre made these. That's a tap follower for the tailstock chuck. Pretty useful thing. Pretty awesome. Going through this, because these are some pretty awesome tool ideas for Toolfest 2021. And I also think that these are some of the nicest tools I own. They're not brand name, really. They're just things that people have made and have come into my possession one way or another. And they're treasured, and they'll be treasured after I've gone when they get moved on to someone else. They've got a little bit of provenance. if you're going to make something, don't think, well, yeah, I'm never going to use that, or it's just going to get chucked out when I die. I hear that a bit. Honestly, make something and put some effort into it, and someone will treasure it. Someone will treasure it. Put your name on it. So make sure someone knows. Someone knows that where they come from and who they're made from. Put a plate that says made in this state, in this country, in this city by such and such, and then that means something to someone in the future, no matter where they buy them. And they say, hey, I bought this for $2. How awesome is this? It's got someone's name on it. Hey, JB. Hey, Dreams team. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you recovered from the floods. Pierre and the monkeys, I guess, made these too, and I'm lucky enough to have one. This is pretty nice. It's been abused, it's been used. In fact, the condition on owning one was that you actually had to hit something with it and use it while they were watching, so they knew you weren't just going to make it into a shelf queen. But pretty awesome hammer. The ends could do with the dress up. But simple thing like that. I mean, there's a bit of work in that, and it's really nice. It's got a steel stem all the way through with a wooden handle. And I would say, I can't remember, I think that was screwed in. The handle's got a bit of oval in it. It's got a cap screwed on the other end to hold the handle, and these unscrew. And all that is an O-ring to hold it tight, and it's got a Loctite in grub screw to screw that on. So it's pretty easy construction, really. Same on that end. But really good hammer. They stay nice and tight, finger tight. So lots of nice things, and they mean something. So if you're going to make tools, make them and stick your name on them. Yeah, that's right. The ladies at the op shop will love you. That's exactly right. The person who buys the stuff after you're dead will thank you. That's about where we're at. I reckon that this is just screwed on and Loctited. That's what I think. But it doesn't really matter what position it's in, because you put the handle on to match. And pin span a hole in the end here, and this unscrews, and then the handle slides on and off, and you can locate it where you want. Nice hammer. I think if you hit the boys up, hit Phil up. I think he's probably got drawings for this. So if you wanted to make one, I think he'd be more than happy to help. So that's just my thoughts behind that. It's another good reason is you can make a video for Toolfest 2021. If you're thinking to start the YouTube channel, that's a really good way to start it, because you'll get a few subscribers out of that, I hope. So go do it. Phil appears on live stream occasionally. We see him here. I think the handle is probably a bit of a challenge, to be honest. You could just sand it to shape, but it's certainly a nice hammer. Pretty lucky to have that. There are other tools. I picked this up in the States. Someone in America made this. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to tilt that over so you can see. Someone in America made this, and it's missing some bits, and I've always thought I'd probably finish them. It's a little planer gauge. It's not a bad thing, or adjustable power rod, or whatever you want to call it, or make it, or use it for. This is shop made and it's hard steel. It's got a groove in here. It's actually a little T-slot in the end there. With the T-nut. And two keys. That T-slot only comes down to about here somewhere. And it's all ground up nice, and it's marked TD, whoever TD was. But TD did a nice job of this, and it's something I use pretty regularly over on the mill. Very, very useful for measuring distance between two plates, or jacking up a job, or anything else. But yeah, there's a lot of work in something like this, and it's a really, really nice job. But making one this size, or finding one this size, is almost impossible. And there's a couple of little post missing off here too, which I probably would make at some point. But yeah, it's a planer gauge. Really nice. Don't know much about that really, except it's got TD written on it, and it was very cheap on eBay in somewhere in Midwest America, and I got it sent to California in time for a trip over there and picked it up. So it's really nice. Have a look, it's got a rope knurl, which is a bit special. A knob. Focus, will that focus on there? I wish it would. Probably not. Come on, focus. Has got a rope knurl. Hey, James P. $41.40 lathe chuck sounds like a bit of an overkill, to be honest. But it'd be awesome. Total overkill. Or brass. Brass would be nice. It's not a lot. I guess there's probably a couple of reasons they're made out of cast iron. First is manufacturing costs. So if you've got a casting, there's a lot of work you don't have to do. And second, I guess, is, I haven't got a clue really. The second, I guess, is that it's a fairly dead metal. I mean, you don't get a lot of ring or anything with cast iron, and you don't get a whole lot of resonance or vibration with cast iron, and you probably get pretty stable chuck. But no idea. Hi, Nigel. Nigel number 2. You need big pockets for brass, that's right, but it'd be very, very pretty. And you're all about looks. We know that. Tom, g'day. Can't wait to see the video anyway. That's where we're at with that. Scroll chuck or four jaw? More information. Don't just leave us hanging. Hey, Ian. Yeah, aluminium bronze sounds like pretty hard work, to be honest. You could make it out of steel and you could shrink an aluminium outer on it and screw a plate of aluminium on the front so it looks like it's made out of aluminium. I don't think I'd like to sit down and put T-slots in aluminium bronze, but maybe that's just me. I've seen machinists do it, Tim. It's doable. James B comes out with the best machinist avatar. Got a snap-on box and a square and a Z-square and a Pierre hammer and a spanner, and another spanner or a wrench and a gear and a four-leaf clover. Yeah, 1045 or 1040 or even 1020 is probably all right. I reckon I'd be sort of thinking it would be. If you are hit Stefan up, he might know. There'll be some fancy steels if you really want fancy steels they're ideal. There's a couple of cold work tool steels that are probably pretty good, but I don't know. Ooh, Toolfest Color Project. See, even the big guys, the YouTube channels with the mostest are in Toolfest 2021. So mark it on your calendar, November the 24th. This is another shop-made tool that means a lot to me. These are pretty nice, and these were a subject of a video as well. Mark Lecoyer sent these from Canada, a lazy machinist. If you watch his channel, if you don't, you should. But these get used a lot, and these are probably my good set of V-blocks. Having said that, they've been in the box for a little while, and they could do with a rub on the stone, as it looks like we've got a dirty spot on one of those, which is terrible to show on camera. Might fix that now. Do I have any of the lining pens, Brandon? I've got absolutely no idea where my lining pens are. Yes, several. Wrote a magazine article about that, actually. Such as it is, for a club magazine, national 2.5-inch gauge association. I wrote that up. Going to shake the camera. I might give these a bit of a rub. Julian and Randy, g'day. Yeah, Go Create's probably got a good video on lining pens as well. Bill's gave me some pens and I haven't actually showed them on live stream yet because they're upstairs, I think. Thank you. John's Workshop's got an awesome set of videos. You should absolutely check out John Workshop's new set of videos on making a vacuum engine. Go and check that out. Good videos. Take care, John. And take care, Jim. Nigel's are a bit more high-tech than mine. Mine were a vintage pattern, I guess, from a magazine or from somewhere. So these are a bit nice anyway. Thanks, Craig. This one. It's just a rough old work watch that I wear. This is a few years old. It's one of my favourites. It's easy to read. It does everything. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty much maintenance free. It's fairly solid, big watch. It's waterproof, all those sort of things. It's not a bad watch. This is a Bell & Ross BR3, I think. I think it's a BR3, but it's the quartz one because I can't afford an automatic one. So it's got the ETA movement in it. It's not a bad watch. Banned by a company I work with, but it's 6 years old now, so it's time we had a new one on it. That's coming along nicely soon. But that's a Bell & Ross. Makes me feel special that obviously when KLM was Googling watch designs, that's what he came up with. And his looks pretty good too. It's only a rotten old self-service Seiko in his. I'm going to be a snob. No, I'm not. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch, KLM. And if anyone hasn't seen it, go and watch his watch build video. It's awesome. You should check that out. But yeah, it's military styled or Air Force styled. Have a look at Bell & Ross. They make some really nice stuff. Some of their later stuff, their automatics and skeletons and things are really, really nice, but way out of my price range. 100 and yeah, decent Bell & Ross now is $20,000 to $50,000, and I haven't got a hope of affording that, so I'm going to put up with this one. New video from Aid too, I saw it there. Rustanox, g'day. New video from Rustanox. Be part 5 or part 6, part 7, something like that. Part something of the Shaper build. Really enjoying that. It's another good series. Part 7, yeah. That's the one I saw. So anyway, My thought is the shop-made tools are a bit of a keepsake and they're a bit nice and someone will appreciate them. I have a nephew messaging me about some of Dad's things that he would like, anything that Dad made or anything like that you could keep as a keepsake. So that's kind of important. Don't buy a Timex, James. Seiko's a pretty good option, only because they go forever without too much servicing. If you keep the bracelet clean, the watch lasts forever. The Seiko's main problem is that their bracelet systems tend to wear out with dirt as an abrasive inside. So that's a bit of an issue with a Seiko, but it's a fairly small gripe. In the big scheme of things, because anything with the Swiss movement will require attention a lot sooner. Yeah, Seiko's a pretty good option. 7S26 they've been making that for 30 years, you know, so it's a movement that's sort of tried and tested, and you're going to still be able to get bits for in another 20 years, I reckon. Couple of tips when you're buying a Seiko. There we go. Buy one with the black glass seal, not the white glass seal, if you possibly can. It'll be a bit more money, but generally a whole lot better waterproofing system. What you find, especially here in Queensland where it's hot summer and hot sun all the time, is that the neoprene or the PTFE seal, whatever it is, I think it's PTFE, white seal tends to decompose over time, whereas the black one's rubber and Viton, and it's a better system. It's an O-ring set in a case, and then the glass is clamped down on top of it rather than pushing inside a seal. But that's all a bit trivial and not particularly relevant. But if you're buying a watch, yeah. Timex are made in the Philippines now, and they're almost unserviceable, even in the States, I think. Casio G-Shock's an awesome watch until you open them the first time. And then you discover you can't get bits from anywhere. Like, parts are not available. Probably parts are available if you lived in Japan. But in most countries in the world, parts for a Casio aren't available. So, as Craig found out when he's trying to find a seal, and sorry Craig, I haven't had any luck with that. But they're not a machine that are easy to service because you can't get bits from. But avoid anything Chinese is where I'm at. I shouldn't say that because they do make some nice timepieces, but they're not run-of-the-mill stuff that you'll just buy on eBay. And avoid anything too complicated. Look, the Amiga 254, 258, 250 series from the 50s is probably the high point of all Swiss watchmaking. I think it's about as good as it got, and I really shouldn't say that, but I think that's Swiss watchmaking since then. It's always gone downhill. I mean, they were awesome movement, mechanical wind movement with 56 parts, including the screws. When you broke them down, so they were pretty good. All the screws were standard and interchangeable in all positions, all plate places, and all. Yeah, they're all pretty standard screws, and they were decently finished in a decent mechanism and pretty easy to service and pretty easy to put together. They had separate plates for all the bridges, or separate bridges for all the pivots, and they had enough jewels to make them reliable forever. And some of them had enough complication that they were chronograph certified even. But that's a really good watch, and from there on, not got a lot of good things to say about the Swiss watch industry, to be honest. Best watch for $50. Older model Casio, absolutely. Probably not a square one, a round one, analog. Get on sale, you get one for 45, 50 Australian dollars, probably 30, 35 US. Something with a standard fitting band, not the G-Shock band, as you've got to find a special G-Shock band for. Something with the bracelets, a standard 18mm or 20mm fit. Something that takes a standard glass. Something with a round case back, so that it'll take a half standard seal in the back. And something without buttons, so that it's half waterproof. And probably it's got a Citizen or My Auto movement, so it's going to be 3/4 sort of half reliable. So that's where I'm at with that. If you spend $50 on a watch, that's what I get. You get a new one, but thing about Casio is that Casio don't actually discontinue anything, so their catalogue just gets thicker and thicker and thicker because they believe that everything has its season again. So you'll find that the same models that you could buy 20 years ago are still available, and you'll find an 80s Casio it's actually in vogue again now, and they're producing them very, very cheaply, and they'll be in everyone's shop. And they'll be good, decent loom face, black, half decent watch. You'll do all right there. So Elgin's pretty nice, but not something you see very often here in Australia. Really, Waltham and Elgin are not brands we see in here since the 30s, really, since World War II, which wasn't in the 30s. My Toolfest 2021 project's coming out of Model Engineer from 1943. Yeah, 1943, during the war. The same week that Eisenhower was selected to lead the Allied troops in Europe. The same week that Stalingrad fell to the Russians or was reclaimed by the Russians. Anyway, that's enough clues. You could probably, if you really wanted to do some homework, you'd find it by then. It's not a particularly thick volume of Model Engineer during the war. Oh, that's exciting, Stephen. Note 5's good, but it's really, if you make a strap for it, you look a bit funny. So anyway, enough about watches. Who asked about watches ever? Don't come on live stream to talk about watches, really. I have a bit of a collection, and maybe sometime we should get them out and have a look through them if anyone's interested, but most of them have histories, and they're like some of my own handmade tool collection. They come from people who I care about. Always that person, Paul. That person. No, no progress at all. At all. Waiting for some money to sort itself out because I need tools to finish that, and machines and things, and it's just not happening at the moment. And I've got this stupid press in the way, and I've had trouble with paint. But I fixed that. I fixed that problem. So we've got a new video from Maddie's workshop 9 minutes ago. That's awesome. The epoxy enamel needed proper thinners, the epoxy brush thinners for that particular enamel. So I went and bought that and seemed to have fixed most of the problems with it. So pretty happy about that. So he had a bit of a mail call, I guess, or whatever you call it, and some gifts and things. This come. Take care, Randy. I had to buy one of these. I think there's a lot of accessories with it which may or may not be useful. So anyway, everyone's asking what this is for. No one's got a clue. No one's asking what this is for. No one really wants to know. It's a it's a bipump hose, of course. That's what that is. However, it's also part of Princess Marina. Take care, Dreamsteam. Keep the videos coming. Can't wait to see your new engine. New videos coming from Dreamsteam, so check it out. So yeah, water hose link here. Comes from a plate here into the locomotive, I hope. Something like that. So got to make a fitting for that on here. That's the theory with that. A friend dropped this in too. I sort of said, hey, look out for some of this, and he dropped this in. Now this is another project, but it's not really. It's not even on the radar at the moment as far as a project goes. Look at this. Magnet steel. Probably nearly enough there to make a little dynamo or a generator or something, or even an electric motor, something like that. So, and probably there's more available if we needed some more, but we know what we're looking for. So that'll go away, and we're sort of at the right price, so we'll put it towards our collection, and at some point when we decide that that's something we need to make, I've got some bits for it, probably. Anyway. I don't know what else really. What else is happening? Haven't seen an update on Nigel's loco for a bit either. I need to clean this bench off. It's absolutely atrocious. I've been painting signs. Sign for an art gallery in Sydney. Place is a mess. But there it is. This has been a bit of a challenge, this sign. I guess everyone can see it there in that part of the workshop. Take care, JB. Good to see you. But this has got a backing paper on it, but it's clear acrylic, which is slippery, awful stuff for painting enamel on it. Really struggled a bit with this. We've got it sorted now. I've gone through and made a fourth start on this sheet of stuff, and I've got pretty half decent results there. I think it's decent. Take care, John. So that's what I'm working on, and putting a bit on that every night, really, when I can. Try and get that out for the guy, because it's been a little while, and I've really had trouble with that. You can check out that particular art gallery if modern art's your style, or mid-century art, that sort of stuff. But there you go. That's a work in progress. Yeah, it would, Chirpy, but the issue being that this has only got a fairly complicated lettering pattern on it and nothing else. So cleaning it up with sandpaper after you've marked it out is sort of a bit fussy. Anyway, this is the answer. Let's have a look here. Gosh, I've got some stuff stacked here still. Good stuff. Anyway, that's sort of... Don't even know where this is made or anything else. This looks like an Australian product. But Penetrol's pretty good stuff, and that's what I've used, and it seems to have fixed the problem after a bit of messing around in undercoat. So there you go. That's what I've been doing, really, and it's taken priority the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to get that sorted, get it so that it's actually behaving itself. So anyway, that's kind of a hope, a little bit of encouragement for homemade tools, and for... I get a lot of messages saying, hey, I'd like to be part of this, but I'm way too busy. Yeah, maybe. If you're busy now, you always will be, I guess. Anyway, Toolfest 2021. Now, I was going to bring some books down and go through them because I know everyone likes to look at books, but I feel a bit sort of guilted into not doing that because every time I show a book on here that I really like or I think is awesome, everyone on the chat goes through and buys up remaining stocks of, and not really the expected outcome. So maybe I need an Amazon affiliate so that I collect a little bit out of them. Don't know. But yeah, there's a few people who've said that yeah, I shouldn't really show books on here because people buy too much stuff. I've collected up books, and most of my books come from next to nothing. I have books that I've spent a lot of money on, honestly. Expensive books, which are now available quite cheaply. I'm thinking George Daniel's Watchmaking, which is awesome. I'm not going to say too much about it, but that was out of print for quite some time, and the one I bought was crazy expensive, and now it's back in print, and you can buy it for about half that price. The Kenneth Wells Traction Engine book, that was crazy expensive too, and it was out of print. Now that's back in print, and you can buy it for nothing. So yeah, some books I've picked up for nothing that seem to bring crazy money. I don't know why that is. So Chirpy's out. Take care, Chirp. There's a leftover bit out of my Toolfest 2021 project, just if anyone's interested. Anyway, what else is happening? Not much at all. I've got way too much to do and really no inclination or time to do it, so I apologise. More books equals more projects, and I've been looking through Model Engineer as I go, sort of off and on, and just occasionally pick one up and glance through it, and then end up reading an article and putting it back on the shelf. And there are projects that when I bought the magazines, that I did the same thing for, and thought, gosh, that's nice, I'd like to make that. And honestly, I never lived long enough. So that's where we're at. There's too many projects in Model Engineer that I love to build, and some pretty crazy things, but I don't know how many of them I'll ever find time for. Got to get this locomotive finished, got to get back and finish this Stuart 400, and I've got to spend some time on the Gazelle. But until that point, I'm making a Toolfest 2021 project. And there's some other news about milling machines that I haven't really shared too much. Not sure if that's going to eventuate, but if anyone knows how to get a box that weighs between 30 and 40 kilos, I would imagine, between 30 and 50 kilos, from the UK to Australia at the moment, fairly cheaply, hit me up. I have finished some projects, I think. I'm going to go as far as to say, yeah, I've finished some projects. Not very many, but I have finished some. Can't offhand think of one at the moment. Sorry, guys. It's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, complete blank. I'm sure there's something I've finished. I finished my dividing head. Now I do finish some things. Some things are a bit daunting. This locomotive sitting here is fairly daunting. Hey, hey, Hannah. This locomotive sitting here is quite daunting, actually. It's one of those crazy projects that may or may not get finished one day because it's just... There's a lot of bits still to go. Still a lot of bits to go on that. So anyway. Don't need to think about that at the moment. Craig, yeah, I found the right thinners for it. I think we've got some half decent paint finish on it. We've still got runs and things that need to be sanded out, but I've got a coat of paint on it that's not gone all wrinkly or anything. And I'm pretty happy with that. So I might sand that back and put another coat on it before bed, or I might not. It might be tomorrow. Thanks, Paul. We might try that. It's not a bad colour, I guess, for sort of... Yeah, pan ham soup green. It's sort of all right. Sorry, guys. Thanks heaps. And I want to get that back together and finished and tidy and working. Anyway, I'm going to call it, I think. I think we've had enough of this. There wasn't anything at all to talk about. I just thought, well, a little bit of showing off, but more... I want to say that there are things that I really, really treasure that are handmade tools. And the things of my dad's that were handmade, that he made, that I kind of treasure and I'll hang on to too for a long time. And even things of my grandfather's. So I'm kind of thinking you should make more tools. You should hashtag them Toolfest 2021. Release them on the 24th of November. Anyway, I'm out. Take care, guys. Thanks everyone who signed in and everyone who's new in the chat, etc., etc., etc. And new subscribers, that sort of thing. We'll have a new video out on the channel before very long. And I'm not slacking off, promise. Follow, I mean, if you're looking for videos to watch, check out all these guys on this in the chat. Subscribe to them, because if they haven't made videos yet, they're going to, if we put enough pressure on them. So go and check them out and watch something. Anyway, I'm out. Take care. Be kind to each other. And more soon.